Hey everyone, welcome back to the ASL Dyad. This week's video we're going to be talking about how dating is hard for everyone, but it can be a little bit harder for deaf people because of communication.
So this week we did an Instagram poll and we asked guys and girls that if they were using a dating app and they saw that the person put in their bio that they were deaf, if that would influence their decision in any way. And we got a lot of good responses, a lot of good feedback, and most of them would have either felt nervous or intimidated because of the language barrier. And a lot of them felt like that if they did end up going on the date with a deaf person, that not being able to sign or not being able to communicate well with them would kind of influence it in a negative way.
Mm-hmm. And then we also had one of my friends who's deaf comment something, and he said, well, kind of relating to the question, when I put deaf in my bio, I get a lot less matches. And I thought that was interesting because when I use dating apps, I didn't put that I was deaf in my bio, mostly just because I was nervous on what guys would think and they would judge me differently. So I just didn't ever say it. But if we did match and we were talking, then I would bring it up because I didn't want them to be shocked by it as we were on the date. But most of the time, once I told them oh, I can talk and I can communicate, they were okay. But I was nervous to just put I'm deaf. But I was also nervous to say I'm deaf for the cochlear implant too. I don't know. So I just never put that on my dating bios. So I would encourage you guys that if you see someone who put deaf in their bio, to go ahead and give them a chance, because you never know what could happen. You can gain some really cool insights about their life as a deaf person. You can find different ways to communicate through just writing back and forth, just texting. So I would just encourage you guys to just go ahead and give it a shot. For me personally, I grew up in the hearing world and I just wanted to marry a hearing guy, but I also wanted them to show me that they were going to learn ASL because that is a big part of my life. I had a lot of deaf people tell me you're deaf, you must marry a deaf person. And for me, I was always torn about that because I like being in the hearing world and I like talking with people, and so I was open to marrying someone who was hearing or dating people that were hearing. So I think everyone is so different, and maybe there's deaf people who feel that the only way they can be heard or understood is to marry a deaf person, then that is great. But there are deaf people who maybe don't consider themselves a part of the deaf community and they just want someone who can talk and doesn't know ASL. Or for me, I wanted ASL, but I also wanted a hearing guy. So it varies for everyone. So just don't judge on what an individual wants to do. If they want to marry a hearing guy or they want to marry a deaf guy, then let them do that.
And so with that, we want to talk about how more guys need to learn ASL, because at least for me, while I'm taking ASL classes at school, in my class right now there's 25 students and there's only 2 guys in the whole class. And you go to a deaf club event, an ASL club event on campus, and there's hundreds of people there and there's still single-digit guys. And you look around and most of them are girls. The only other guys really are other professors or other people who are already married and learned ASL kind of like I did.
Mm-hmm.
And so we just need more guys to learn ASL because it's awesome. And if you were to ever meet a deaf girl, boom, you can already communicate with them better, and that kind of nervousness or that intimidation that you feel because you can't communicate with them is gone because you can now speak their language.
Yeah, so I was talking to one of my friends and she's deaf, and she was expressing how frustrated she feels because she can't meet guys who know ASL. Whereas if she went to a deaf event or anything, she might meet a couple of guys, but the majority are girls. And so it's a little bit easier for a deaf guy to go to these events and possibly meet someone. And so I was I was just bummed for her, and so we just decided to just try to encourage more guys to learn ASL because it could make a lot of deaf girls a lot happier, and they could feel like they could go on a couple more dates with more guys who know ASL.
So we want to invite you guys and encourage you guys to not feel intimidated or nervous if you meet a deaf person or if you see that someone's deaf on a dating app, because it's just a communication barrier and there's many different tools to get past that, whether it's learning ASL. We have videos on our Instagram that teach a couple of vocab words. There's thousands of videos out there on YouTube. You can write, you can type words. There's just so many different ways to get past that barrier, that having that as something that's stopping hearing world and deaf people from communicating and trying to get to know each other, that shouldn't really be an issue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we just encourage any guys who are watching this to go ahead and just try to learn some signs, take a class, invite your friends to as well, and also for everyone just to be open to possibly dating a deaf or hearing person, and because you never know, it might be a cool opportunity or a cool experience for you guys to just hear each other's perspectives on life. Yeah, so that'll be it for this video. Be sure to subscribe and follow us on Instagram at asl.dyad. And we'll see you guys later.
Bye-bye.